Hello traders out there in Traderland, D7 here with Grok Trade, and there's no video of me today. Why? Because it's Sunday night and I'm here watching football on the comforts of my own room, living room, on my own couch. And let's just get after it. I've been trading in the live markets nearly 30 years using technical analysis, and well over 20 years teaching individuals. We are trading mentors. Now let's just get into the markets. Looking at the monthly chart now, we got a couple weeks left for the month to be over with. So these are dynamic candlesticks. This last candlestick that you see here on the spider SPY is still moving. So what I'm really clued in on here is August. August gave us a lower high, lower low. It's our pivot candle to the downside with a hanging man. Well, in the middle of this month, we already have a lower high. The question is, will we have a lower low? The odds are in our favor. If you look here to go lower, that is. MACD set at 593 is getting ready to cross over. Do you see that? A crossover there, and it drops. Last time we had a crossover on this, we had a major drop. So we have not made it to this other swing high on the monthly chart. So this would be a lower swing high, and we look very, very toppy right now. If you look down here at the Q's monthly chart, again, this is a dynamic candlestick. We do have a lower high, lower low, hanging man, and we have a lower high starting off this month and a red candlestick, and we also have a MACD getting ready to cross over. Go here to small caps. You'll notice the MACD is sub zero line. We have a zero line coming across. We had the S&P 500 and the Q's way over the zero line, but in this case we have the Russell's 2000 very laggy. MACD underneath the zero line coming up, finding resistance there and getting ready to cross over. And financials, like to look at the banks. The banks, same thing, sub zero line coming up here, and we're trying to go bullish here, and you can see we're in a symmetrical triangle here. Do you see this symmetrical triangle at major resistance? And the question is, can we break through? Now I'm going to pause here for a second and say this. On the financials, this is the XLF. You can see this here, and you can see the watermark behind. If XLF goes bullish, that's the only thing that's going to save this markets, because I'm going to show you what we're seeing in the rest of the time frames. The rest of these time frames are looking really bearish, but I'm just telling you right now, can the market still go bullish? The answer is yes, but I think the odds are against it. I don't think there's a high probability of the markets going bullish. I think there's much higher probability of the markets going bearish going into the future here. Now, that said, if the banks get bullish and we break out of the apex of this symmetrical triangle to the upside on the monthly chart, the rest of the markets will in fact follow. Okay, so let's go down the path to the lower time frames. As we go down to the lower time frames, the next step down is the weekly chart. And if we look at the weekly chart, this weekly chart, guys, and I want to start on the spiders, blow this up. I'm using TradingView, and if you look here, we have a trend line drawn, and then we broke that trend line. We broke the EMAs. You can see that we're down below it. If I go to a line chart, you can see it a little cleaner, but we have support, and we're down below it. Do you see that? We broke that. So that's telling me that we have a lower swing high. That's our first lower swing high, giving us a head and shoulder type formation, and we're heading down right now on the spider. Let's go here to the NASDAQ. Actually, let's just go to the Diamonds weekly chart. Just take a look at it. Weekly chart, big rising wedge, more bearish than it is bullish. You can see here we have two trend lines coming up, and it broke both trend lines. You guys see that? You can see that the line's right below it. So really not great there at all. Not great there. And I'm going to go here and hide a couple of these that don't matter to us at this moment. And look at the MACD getting ready to cross down below the zero line, and we're heading down there. If we go here to the Q's, same thing down here near the zero line. Really not good. But what's interesting, we're at a major area of support. Do you guys see this? Major area of support. The question is, will the Q's break down? So we're at support. That could bounce back higher, but we are making a lower swing high. Not great. Now on the spider, I want to just show you what the MACD looks like. Same thing. See that MACD down here? lower, but we did break that trend line. If you go here to the Russell's 2000, what you have here is a symmetrical triangle, and we broke down below this and all the major moving averages. So the Russell's 2000 weekly chart is very bearish. You can see this where we had popped up and we come crashing down. Last week was no good, or 2 weeks ago was it broke it. This week it closed lower too. So this is very bad. MACD now went below the zero line. That's in bearish territory on the weekly chart on the Russells. What are the financials doing? Very important. Financials last few weeks have been going higher, but we paused this week at major resistance. If we go to a line chart, you can see it really nicely. But resistance, resistance, we're at that resistance point here. So we got this big symmetrical triangle. If XLF, again on the monthly, on the weeklies, go bullish, the rest of the markets will follow. But right now, all the other major indices are looking at major bearish sentiment. That's what we're seeing here. If you look here at the US dollar, this is a weekly chart on the US dollar. You can see we're above the moving averages and just going higher. If I go to the candlestick, you can see this very, very, very extended here, kind of high on the RSI, and it looks like we're getting ready to cross over. If you look at this on the MACD, see the crossover, US dollar getting ready to drop. If you go to gold, take a look at gold, big bull flag, we're at major resistance. We could break out to the upside on the weekly chart. Gold looks really bullish to me. This is for educational purposes only. I'm going to be saying bull and bear. This is public news that I'm sharing with you. So on the public scale, I'm sharing these buy and sell signals. I might look at some stocks here in a minute. And just know it's for educational purposes only. It's not a recommendation to buy or sell. Now, silver, big time support, broke a trend line, but we're still above this other trend line. And we have a huge hammer here. So this could get bullish. So watch that. VIX is under 14, guys. Under 14. That's just so low. Also, silver is below the zero line, but we've been hovering above, below. You know, we're just coiling. Look for a big move on gold and silver. Right now it looks more bullish than it looks bearish to me. And we're going to go over here and take a look at the daily charts, okay? So the daily charts, what are we seeing? Daily charts. I want to show you. This is big time bearish death hook area. We have resistance. We broke resistance to the upside, and then we come crashing down. If we continue down below this support lines, we broke one of these support trend lines. We're still above this one. If we start to break down below it, look for a major sell-off, and you can see monster volume on Friday. Monster volume on Friday, guys. This on the sell side. This is institutional selling taking place right now. The markets could be ready to sell off for the remainder of the month. Go here to the diamonds. We have a symmetrical triangle, a breakout, and we came back in. Bearish death hook, guys. And you guys know this. I've been teaching you the bearish death hook. You won't find it anywhere else. You'll only find it here at Grok Trade. If I go to a line chart, you'll see it a little easier. Sometimes it's harder to see trend lines drawn with candlesticks, but you can see them easier just with the line chart. It kind of cleans them up a little bit. A death hook is when you go over a symmetrical triangle and you immediately come back inside it, and we're at that area right now. This could get nasty and fast to the downside. Qs, we got our symmetrical triangle going. We broke out to the upside and immediately come back down inside the symmetrical triangle, the apex of it, on huge sell volume. Guys, this is no bueno, no good. It's not something. I think that we have a big time problem here. We had a crossover already to the downside. We're getting ready to cross below the zero line. We're still above a lot of support. If we break this support on the Qs, guys, I mean, this is a huge area of support here. You can see this with this horizontal line coming across. You got these trend lines, major support, but the odds are against it. Look for this to break down. Russell's 2000. If you look at this big symmetrical triangle, if you go to a line chart, big symmetrical triangle, we broke down. Now it's acting as resistance and it's dropping again. We're sub-zero on the MACD, and we're getting ready to cross back, to the bear side yet again. Financials. Take a look at the financials. We have a big symmetrical triangle at major resistance. See that resistance that it's at right now? It looks like the MACD is going to cross over and start to head down. If you look at this, it's just huge resistance right there. If it breaks it, again, if it breaks this resistance, I just want to let you guys see where I draw these lines. Resistance, shadows, and then resistance here, right? So that's what we're looking at. So this is a huge line, big line. Doesn't surprise me that we sold off here. If I go to a candlestick, you'll see, and blow this up a little bit so you can really see it. We sold off for the day, and then we bounced right at the end. So this is saying there's a chance in the markets. The markets go bullish, the rest of the markets should follow. But right now we're staring down the barrel of the bearish death hooks on major indices, and that could be horribly bullish going into the near future. US dollar daily chart, if you take a look at this has just been grinding, melting to the upside right now. Just a huge grind, huge bearish divergence. You see this? We're going higher here, lower here on the MACD. It's a bearish divergence. We're crossing over and getting ready to head down. Can't get off the support line. You see this on the daily chart? Support, and then it'll break down. If the US dollar finally breaks down, which it is technically set up to do, that should do really well for gold and silver. Speaking on gold and silver, go to gold. Let me show you this, guys. We kind of have an island bottom here. See how we have an open gap here, and a big gap up to resistance. This could in fact be a breakout opportunity to the upside. You can see we have a crossover taking place on the MACD on gold. Silver is something very interesting. This is this is going to bullish death hook opportunity here. Big symmetrical triangle. We broke down. It should have went bearish. It immediately comes back in. But guys, this is a very exotic candlestick reversal pattern. If you look here, this is called an abandoned baby. What that means is we gap down, we create a candlestick bar, and then we gap back up. But you have to have what's called two open windows. So right here, there's a gap on the downside. You see this gap? There's no overlapping shadows, and then to the upside, when it gaps up, there's no overlapping shadows or bodies. You have two open windows. Because you have two open windows and a single candlestick down there, that is called an abandoned baby, and they are very powerful. So in other words, the chances of this MACD continuing to rally higher, it has crossed over, and this RSI going from oversold area, to perhaps overbought, is highly probable. So on the daily charts, as the silver is gold looking really good. Share this video, guys. And on the weeklies, looking really good. Monthlies are set up to do really well. So precious metals are set up to do really well. Now overall, the major indices are set up to go bearish going into the future. The only thing that will save it will be the financials. Now, for those of you, you're free to go if you'd like. For those of you that like to look at some stocks of interest, let's go take a gander at that. So we're going to go to Grok Tech stocks. Start at the top of the list. Now, mind you, if the markets do in fact go bearish, I wouldn't want to be long any stocks, let alone highly volatile tech stocks like we're looking at here. But if you take a look at Apple has symmetrical triangle broke down. I'm not, and even though we're at a support level, this is not a buy for me. Even though the MACD is getting ready to cross over to the upside, but we're sub-zero, not a buy for me. Unless we were to cross back up, go above this trend line. If so, that'd be a bullish death hook. That thing could get really bullish and fast. AMD was down 5% on Friday. Huge drop, guys. And this is a falling wedge we're heading down into on huge sell volume to a support level. So the question is, can the markets, will this support level remain support? I wouldn't be interested on this unless we're to break out above the upside of this lower trend line or the upper trend line. Amazon, if you look at this, Amazon has been doing really well, heading up, 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 up. And the problem is it's a rising wedge, which is not good. We have a bearish divergence on the MACD. We have a crossover to the bear side. So all that's telling me this is a sell opportunity. This is probably a high. In other words, there's a really good chance, guys, that this is a high that we just put in that we might not see for some time here on Amazon. So let's see if I'm right. Let's go to ARC. ARC, up, 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 and then down, down, down. MACD is crossed over and heading into the zero line, but not an interesting buy there at all. BABA has been selling off, 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 very extended, oversold areas, but the symmetrical triangle, it broke this. Look for it to pop back up to a resistance area, and then look for a potentially short opportunity. Baidu, if you look at Baidu here, and this is very, very choppy. You can see this. ADRs are very, very choppy. ADR is just foreign companies traded on the U.S. exchange. Very but even though it's kind of a bull flag type formation, I'm more bullish than it is bearish. I'm staying away from it. Booking, if you go over here to booking, this has been grinding to the upside, been grinding straight up, and it's just melting at this moment. I'm just not overly excited about that. Anything else grabbing my attention here? We have to look at Google too. Google has been doing really well, guys, but we're in overbought territory. Huge volume, guys, on this print, on this last doji. And we have what's called, whoa, do we have that? Almost a tweezer top, two hammers here together. This could be really bearish. Be careful, guys. GoPro has a nice little rally this week. So the question is, can we break over the top of this falling wedge, and can this finally break out to the upside? Be watching that. And Meta, which is Facebook, was down almost 4%. Huge volume, big sell-off, big kind of we might be making a lower swing high on the daily, but we broke that trend line. We come up, couldn't even get to the resistance area. Microsoft, take a look at that. Big sell-off, massive volume. That's a sell also. MU, which is Micron Technologies, huge sell-off. Remember, the E's are your expiration, or not expiration dates. Your going brain dead here. Earnings dates. So if you had this big run up, it broke out, found support, tried to break out, now it dropped on here. This could be a bearish death hook. If MU drops back down in here, look for this to sell off and hard. Netflix had a just horrible week, guys. Just down, 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 down. Just a huge, but we're way oversold right now. So this could be a short-term buy opportunity on a bounce, but you have to be careful with that. And Nvidia was down 4% almost, rounded. Big sell on, a tick higher on volume. But it broke a trend line. It's just no good. We have another trend line. It's just not great. Oracle was up. Plantier, if I'm pronouncing that right, is down 3%. Look, a bear flag, and it sold off on a tick higher, but it broke this trend line. It broke the trend line. If you go to a line chart, you can see it. It broke it. Now that it broke it, that's a sell for sure. PayPal. Take a look at this. Just a big bear flag. You see this down, 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 bear flag. Look for another sell opportunity. If you go to Roku, you can see we've just been going sideways on this, but we're at major support right now. It stopped there. Can it bounce? We're oversold, so this would be a good place to see a bounce here. Shopify was down 1.7%. That's a nice bull flag, but the problem with this bull flag is we have other areas of resistance above it, so it's not like a great play here. If I go to a candlesticks, you'll see this up, 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 kind of a bull pullback, but this thing is set to rally. It's set to go higher. Not sure it can do so. Snap broke even for the day, and but it broke a trend line. That's the problem right there. So it broke the trend line Thursday, Friday. It could bounce up again, but I don't see it getting back above that, even though it's oversold. Oversold. And then Tesla was only down 0.6%. Nice big rally, almost to these highs again. Way overbought. MACD getting ready to cross over. We're at major resistance. So this is more of a sell than it is a buy. So guys, giving me a thumbs up doesn't cost you a thing. If you made it this far, just say I made it and give me a thumbs up. Again, it doesn't cost you anything, and it lets me know that you watched it and you appreciate the time of me doing the videos. A big shout out to Mark the Meerkat for sitting in for me while I traveled. Guys, I have an aunt who has ALS and Lou Gehrig's disease. If you don't know what that means, the body shuts down. She can feel touch to her skin. Her mind is completely intact, but her body starts to become paralyzed on the inside. She can't move or do anything. Where they eventually can't move anything in their body. They can't swallow anymore. They can't chew or eat their own food. They just get trapped in their body, and they can't talk, and they can't and then they can't breathe, right? So we went and spent some time with my beautiful Aunt Deanna. I am going to be doing a walk with our family soon. I'm not sure if any of you guys would be even interested in supporting me on the walk, to say you're willing to help support ALS. I'm throwing it out there. I didn't plan on talking about this, but while I was gone, we spent a lot of time with her, and we're supporting her. And if you could let me know in the comments that you're willing to support in any way, shape, or form, if you're willing to do that, I would be so appreciative. I'm not sure. I might be able to send you a link to throw in a few bucks, just to show me that I'm not asking for you to give me any money. I'm just asking, can you support ALS during this time and support me as I support my aunt Deanna, and we call her Nanny anyway. But Mark, thank you so much for, while in my absence, coming in and supporting. And ironically enough, we had a hurricane come through during the time that we were leaving, so we had mandatory evacuations. We were zone A, and we had to leave. We did not get flooded ourselves, but many of our friends were not as fortunate. A lot of flooding here in Tampa area. So, if you like it, like it. If you know of anybody that had ALS, let me know you know somebody and who it was, and who they were to you. Really interested in that. And if you don't know anybody, but you made it this far, just say made it. Only you and I will know what that means, and everybody else that made it. So anyway, much respect to each and every one of you, and I hope it's okay that I didn't do my video here. Again, I got bedhead. I'm sitting on my couch, and I'm watching Sunday football game, relaxed here on this awesome Sunday afternoon. So take care all, and I'm looking forward to what we have. And just a little tidbit, guys, we're going to be doing some educational workshops. I'm going to have everyone kick in a few bucks on this. It's one of those things that it's only valuable if someone puts in a little money. It's not a moneymaker for us. It's just got everyone will have to kick in a few bucks to enter, to be part of this, because we are giving away high charged education. We're going to be giving you snippets of what we teach in our mentoring. We do mentor. But we have those coming. Just be watching out for them. Those workshops will be coming, and you're going to want to be at every one. Once you get going on some of these workshops, you're not going to want to miss them because of the value that's going to be brought into each one of those classes. That's it. That's all. I'm rambling now. Take care, guys. Love you all. We'll see you. Bye.
guys, why are you still here? You're supposed to be gone while I still have you. If you haven't joined the 301 mentorship yet, seriously give that some serious thought. Mark the Meerkat's been trading a long time in the markets. As you know, I have too. We take people under our wing and we teach you what we do to trade in the live markets. We trade a significant amount of money on a day-to-day basis in the live markets ourselves. If you're going to learn from anybody, learn from us. It's the 301 mentorship program. We've been doing this a long time, and we're happy to help you. There you have it. Now, get out of here.